Live.
There we go. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is episode number 12
Wow.
of Home Talk.
12.
Wow.
We are cooking with gas.
All righty. What do you want to do first?
I think I'll let you go first today.
Okay, so Home Talk is, of course, our office. Why do I always want to forget what I call it? Our floor duty.
Yes.
Floor duty in the office, answering questions of people that call in, write in, text in, or otherwise notify us on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube. And so if you want to ask a question, simply pop it in the comment section. We're monitoring it and we can answer any questions that you may have. So how do you want to start off?
You go.
All right. So I just want to do the numbers
four
game.
Pillars?
The 4 pillars. Nope. You want me to do the 4 pillars every time? I can.
I think so.
All right, so we just want to talk about the 4 pillars of a healthy home. We always talk about our healthy homes, and people ask us, well, what the heck does that mean? So we talk about the 4 pillars of a healthy home. Pillar number 1 is your house, the real estate side of things. That's where it all starts. That's where it all evolves around. That's where it all begins. Pillar number 2 is the ecosystem inside the house, the products that you use inside, air quality, purification, and the chemicals that go on inside that house that affect the residents. And then pillar number 3, physical body, your food, your supplementation, your exercise, your strength, all of that stuff that goes into living a healthy, active lifestyle. Pillar number 4 is your mental part of the equation, your emotional well-being, your spiritual well-being. All of those 4 pillars are needed to have a healthy home. If one of those are out of whack, really tough to have a healthy home environment. So we speak on, teach on, train on, and talk on all 4 of those. Today we are doing our floor duties. So we're talking about the real estate side of things. And what is the real estate? Let's just go play the numbers game.
Is our volume on? I just want to make sure because last week.
It's on.
Okay, just checking.
So just want to play the numbers game. Numbers game. Last time, now I didn't give the last. I don't know what was going on last week. So the last time we did this was 2 weeks ago. I didn't have the numbers ready last week. So for this week, we have total single-family homes on the market 2,405. 2,405. 1,500 was the number 2 weeks ago. Of association properties, 1,078. 2 weeks ago it was 822, so we have a total of 3,483.
This is looking up.
2 weeks ago it was 2,354. We're up 48%. That's a significant increase. Now, from last week,
where are my pom-poms?
From last week, because we report a little bit on the numbers for the radio show as well every week for Real Estate Chalk Talk. So we're down maybe a couple hundred from last week, but that is to be expected because of the Memorial Day weekend. All right, so pending sales. Pending sales this week, a total of 5,456. 2 weeks ago, it was 5,325, up only 2%. Now, the significance there is inventory up 48%, pending sales up 2%. That tells us that pendulum is swinging from the seller side back to a more neutral position. And our rolling, here's the real news though. Our rolling median sale price is up to $368,000. Average sale price is up to $432,000. That's a 10% increase from just a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
We just reported, I think it was a National Association just reported, or maybe it was S&P reported the largest year-over-year gain in home prices on record. So
really,
with all this going on, the values keep going up. Combination of demand and inflation, because inflation has a huge impact on that. Remember, our cost of new construction plays into that. So when you got $1,000 for a 2x4, it adds cost to the thing. So that's our numbers game. The market looks like it's steady and strong. I think that the interest rate spike that we experienced earlier in the year is kind of leveled off now, so that we're hovering. It's the shock
The
of it.
shock
Yeah,
of it. Yeah, I
right.
think that's what it is. People have
Yep.
gotten past the shock. It always happens when something like this happens, whatever it is, the shock factor. Everybody's like,
Oh my
oh,
God,
right,
world's coming to an end.
right, world's ending, and then we get past it.
Yeah. Now it's kind of normalized into about 4.25, 4.5, kind of bumbling around in that. I'm sorry, 5.25, 5.5, kind of bumbling around in that 5 to mid 5 range, and that's still a super duper historical rate. So
Yes.
People will kind of get used to that. What they're not getting used to is $6 a gallon gas. Not getting used to that. Electrical. Now it's reported because this administration has shut down so much coal production. Who'd ever thought of it? Coal.
Okay.
So they shut down coal production. The coal production is about half of what it was 2 years ago. And they're pressing on everyone to buy electric cars. So the demand for electricity is going this way, coal production going that way. So they expect that the cost of electricity in some of the eastern seaboard states where they rely heavily on coal produced electricity will be double. So enjoy that this summer when you're having brownouts in California and the East Coast and down in Texas too, where they have a lot of power plants that are impacted by that.
A lot of windows open this summer.
Yes. Yep.
Because
it's good for us because I like it hot.
I know we like it hot, so we're fine with the air not blasting and opening the windows, and so I am fine with that. But I think that's going to be a trend for sure this year, that people are going to start to really pay attention to. Just normally you would just turn on the lights, leave them on, turn on the fireplace in the winter, leave it on. They're just paying more attention and being a little bit more.
Let's talk about sewer lines.
Sewer lines. You want to talk about sewer lines? That. Okay. What do you like about sewer lines?
As we, this is something interesting. So when the market, I find it interesting. Maybe you won't, but whatever. In the market now, in the last couple of years, what we found is fewer and fewer people have been asking for home inspections because sometimes that ask makes the difference of whether or not your offer is accepted or not accepted.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that the pendulum is kind of swinging back to a more neutral position, well over 60% now of all the offers that are being made, it was just reported last week, are including a home inspection, and that number will increase as the numbers come back. At one point, there was well over 90% of all the offers came tagged with a home inspection. In your first and second tier suburbs and in your core cities where they have older sewer lines, it's important as part of that inspection to have the sewer lines inspected as well, scoped. So they'll send a camera down there and take a look at those sewer lines. And it is pretty interesting, the things that we find and see in the sewer line.
Mm-hmm. So with that, it is critical that the integrity of your sewer line in that particular home. Now, Golden Valley has a compliance with that the seller actually has to have the sewer scoped before the house goes on the market.
Right, and West St. Paul does too.
Oh, okay. So they're the only two that are on board so far with that. And there are, okay, how do I gently say this without getting into trouble? There are a lot of agents that are part-time, don't do a lot of transactions, and aren't in the everyday scope of what's going on. Get it? Scope. We're talking about sewer lines. That they really don't know about this whole sewer line scope thing. And it isn't something that I've seen at all in the last couple of years in our continuing education.
No, not much.
No, I mean, it's not been brought into our continuing education. So every year we have to take our continuing education hours to keep our license and so forth. So it isn't something that they're learning from there. This is one of those on the field experience, doing the transactions, learning type of a situation. So it is important to be able to check that. And you could still forego your inspection, but have a sewer line inspection. So it's not like it's one or the other. So you can have you could just have a radon test if you wanted. You could just have the sewer scope inspection if you wanted. And I would say the ones that we've had that have needed repair has been anywhere from what 8 to 15,000.
Yep.
I think that we've seen.
It's not a cheap fix.
No, it isn't. And that's one of those hidden things that, again, unless you have the experience and you're out there doing the transactions and doing the work, that's where experience matters for who you choose to pick as your realtor. So in new homes, right, not so much to worry about,
No.
right, because the sewer lines are made with the PVC
Well,
pipes.
they're new and they've just been inspected.
Well, there's not a lot of trees and, a lot of that kind of thing. Right. So it's not really necessary on new. Okay. But you will.
You get into the older communities where they got cast iron pipes, that are 50 years old, clay pipes, that are maybe 100 years old in some areas.
Yep.
Collapsing. It's a big deal.
And it's the whole sewer line and the integrity of that is what's causing the sewer line clogs, right? And there's some houses that we've come across where they're just prone to needing that rotor-rooter like every year or every 2 years. And so you have the seller's disclosures, that they'll put that on there if they do that. And I was just talking to a lady about a house in Egan, and she was telling me about how they sit and where they sit, and they're closest to the sewer line where, with the city. And so they're a house that has to do the rotor-rooter every single year. None of their neighbors do down. They're like the first one. And so you never know what's going to happen. It's always like we say, you might live at this house and have radon, and I'm right next door to you and I don't have any radon issues. And so there's things that we as agents look for in documentation, wording, the age of the home, how many trees are around the property, and so forth. You're looking at the home, and you're looking at the home. Is this going to suit my family? Is this the right layout, the bedrooms, the baths? And with our experience, we're looking at something and other things to protect you.
That's right.
And advise you.
And you may find that, the reason for a sewer line to get clogged like that can be a number of things. It isn't always just tree roots. If you have tree roots that the hair roots that get in there every year, that they have to go in there and kind of grind them out, they're coming in there through a crack. I mean, that's the only way that they can get inside there. That tells me that we've got some kind of a crack or something happening in that line. The other thing that can happen is the line can actually settle, so you get almost like this little dip in it. One of the locations that we had for the restaurant was in Burnsville. It had a very long sewer line run that used to plug all of the time, and that was the problem there. There was no crack in the line, but it had that definitely dip, almost forming a P-trap in there, and it used to plug up and clog and back up. It was just a nightmare. So much so that we elected not to renew our lease there and move to a different location because it was just a constant problem. Well, imagine that if that's your house, then, all of a sudden some toilet paper gets in there or a kid's toy or something like that gets settled into that, starts accumulating and collecting debris. And then pretty soon you got a problem and you got your sewer backing up into your house, which is not a fun thing to deal with.
Two ways you can help catch the danger of the flooding in your basement. Buy a water sensor that you put next to the floor drain. Okay. The sensors are relatively inexpensive, and of course they can connect to Bluetooth, right? Can everything connect to Bluetooth?
Everything connects to Bluetooth.
Okay. Number 2, install a backflow preventer in your sewer line. I mean, don't they usually all have that or not?
Well, yeah, there should have. If you've got, depending on the age, again, in your trap below the line, your floor drain, there should be a ball in there that when the water comes up, it pushes that ball up there and supposed to seal it. Now, a lot of those get corroded over the years and they don't seal tightly, so water can still go through. So you can check those. You can actually replace those balls so that they seal correctly. And a lot of them, they're just missing. They've deteriorated and they're just gone.
dog ate it, kids took it, whatever. The backflow preventer will prevent an issue stemming from the city sewer system backing up into your home, as the city could be liable, right? And so it will be expensive to install, as you need to tear out part of the floor to insert it. So if you're doing a basement renovation, that's the time to consider and put that on your list, right? So what else you got?
I have something that I jotted down here before we came on.
Okay.
It's clean and green from the street. We're talking about getting homes prepared and ready to go on the market. In this time of the year especially, it's so important. Don't overlook the landscape, especially the front. People, they drive up to the house. That first impression is so important. When they drive up, they want to see a nice landscape, freshly trimmed shrubs, nice new fresh mulch around the front plantings. They don't want to see overgrown, floppy, bushes that need to be replaced. Sometimes you'll see sidewalks that are all crumbly and whatnot. And if it's an FHA or a VA loan that offer that comes in on the house, you may have to deal with some repair work there anyhow. So it's best to do that work up front. Get your lawn fertilized and looking super duper. Paint the front door. It's an old adage. People kind of chuckle when you say the first thing you do is paint the front door. But hey, paint the front door, replace maybe the front doorknob and latch system so that when people come up to the front of the house, where they put their hands, their eyes go. You want them to see a nice gleaming, freshly painted entranceway and inviting them into the house.
The other thing too is that when that's what you're seeing on the outside for the first thing, then you get in the house and then all the buyer is doing is looking for more issues, right? Because they're like, okay, if they're not taking care of the outside, what are they not taking care of the inside? And then they're really not focusing that much on the house. They're focusing on trying to find the things that are wrong with it, and that's not, it's not what you want, right?
And speaking of that, then especially now as the market kind of comes back into balance, it's so important to do the work. Even when the market was, people got in this notion that, well, I can put anything on the market and it's going to sell with multiple offers. And that was maybe true, but they maybe could have gotten a little bit more or had a little bit cleaner offer or a little nicer offer if they would have just done some very, very basic work. And so what we've got is a program where many times you'll come into a home and we say, look, you really need to paint. You need to replace the countertops. You need to replace some flooring. How about updating some light fixtures and painting the cabinet doors, putting some new hardware on the doors. And people are like, well, I don't have the cash to do all that, and I don't know that I'm going to get my money back out of it. Well, we believe very strongly that you will. So here's the offer. We'll front the money for all that. You can, when we come into a house, we'll go through it. If you need carpet, we're going to get the carpet installed. We're going to get that house painted. We're going to replace the hardware. We're going to replace your light fixtures. We're going to do some moderate staging and whatnot. And then all of that stuff, I'm not going to pay for it, forever, but we'll settle up at closing. So there's no interest charge. There's no fees charged. We did all that stuff taken care of, and that way you don't have to worry about money out of your pocket. It's a wonderful program that we can offer through Coldwell Banker, and it comes right out. It's shown on the HUD. You know exactly what your fix-up costs are. Great for tax preparation and recording your documents. Everything is above board, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to be done, and all done with professional workmen in a workman-like manner so that we don't have any problems with lien waivers or anything like that. So wonderful, wonderful revitalized program it's called.
Awesome. So that was we hit the house, the structure. What else did we hit with the sewer? Or that's the house, or does that cover the eco? Whatever. Okay. So just like we have a game plan when we are going to list the house, just like you said,
Yep.
with getting the house ready and the painting and all of that. We have a game plan to help you with the ecosystem in
Right.
the home, right? So we like to educate you on what that means, how that affects you, your kids, your pets, and we do that with a game plan as well. So you don't have to worry. It can be overwhelming to people to be, where do I start? Because it's the same thing with people that are, where do I start? I've got my mother's home and I've got all this stuff and I don't even want to deal with, what do I keep? What's antique? What's worth something? All of that. So we have a game plan for whatever it is that you need help with. Okay. And so that's love to help you with that. The game plan for the house is to eliminate the chemicals from the ecosystem, and let's start using things that are going to support our body, bless our body, and not keep taxing it.
Right.
Okay. And so we have many ways to do that because everybody works differently and their brain works differently. And so you put an offer out there for the program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put an offer out there for you to have samples for 6 days, and I will teach you how to use those in a closed Facebook group. And you reach out to us and I will get you your samples, because we want to make that game plan for you, make it easy for you to turn over. And label reading, I wanted to talk about that. Okay. So we all hopefully read the home inspection report when you get it, right? So if we're reading the home inspection report and we're looking at all of the things with the structure of the home, I like to label read. So I would invite you all to pick 3 things in your home. Doesn't matter if it's a personal care product, a cleaning product, a product in the garage that the guys have maybe, and look at it and see if there are one of 3 chemicals in it: phthalates, sodium lauryl sulfate, and triclosan. Okay, that's your challenge. So you choose to accept it. Check those out. See if you have them. And I will put in the comments the hhs.gov, which you can go and see what that ingredient is, how bad it is for you, your body, your kids, your pets, and your ecosystem. And then I'll also put in PubMed.org, which is the research on that. So just a little piece of
Hint.
Label reading, just to give you an idea of just a few things that are all over your house that you have no idea, affecting your lungs and other kidneys and things.
You gotta get rid of those things. So what?
Same strong like senior.
That's right.
Senior, and we got to get me in there somehow.
Okay,
SNS.
SNS.
Sheila and senior. How about that? Okay. That's what I got today.
Okay, that's it. So that's our show for today. Any questions that you can have, email them, text them, post them on the comments section, and we'll answer them next time we're together. In the meantime, have a super duper week. If you're looking to buy or sell a piece of real estate anytime now or in the near future, give us a ring-a-ling. We'd be happy to help you in any way that we can.
We appreciate your